Welcome back to my Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Day Darling, and should we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today? What have I been up to today? Nothing much all that interesting, you know, a little bit of programming here and there, a little bit of drawing, and recorded some Talos Principle earlier today. Those episodes will be coming out, I don't know, for ages. Now think about it. How many video titles do I need to, how many episodes do I need to title? I have so many videos now to title, because I always leave them in huge batches and I never really get around to it. So, I've recorded up to episode 30, which will be, let's see, uploaded 30th of November, so that's quite a whiles away. But anyway, hello there everyone. Right now in Fawnhollow, it's 5:04 PM on Wednesday, November 3rd, 2021. Hey, that's right, the weather report says we're in for shooting stars, which will be probably another thing I'll forget to do. Later today, we know who our visitor is for today. It is Sahara, so we'll have a chat with him and go get some carpets, and then we'll just continue earning Nook Mile missions, I suppose. Nook Mile points, to hopefully be able to afford everything in one fell swoop with room to spare, as we only have 2 days left until the big update. I still haven't decided how I'm going to do things for the update. Maybe I'll do 2 episodes that day. One will be for the actual update, and one will be for the other stuff. But also at the same time, there's not really a rush. You know, I've got many days of Animal Crossing playing ahead, and if anything, with 500 days of experience, you kind of realise there's no rush to do these sort of things. I don't need to sort of try and churn out the content. It will come at a slow and steady pace. Anyway, get Pump Mountain. I found this really awesome art. Ah, cool. I think I was thinking about it was actually relevant because one of the Talos Principle levels I played, mild spoilers. It's not really spoilers because it's not particularly spoilery, but some of the titles. So the names of the levels were based after playground games, which you might say, hey, that's kind of relevant, and you're watching Squid Game kind of right now. Yeah, kind of, I suppose. It's not really what I was going for. Hey, this looks like a legitimate one. Is this a legitimate one? I think we already have this one, though, unfortunately. But thank you, Ryan, for giving us the proper, I don't know, what woman with a ferret? Is that what this is called? I have no idea. But yeah, they have a level, called Cat's Cradle, which you don't know what Cat's Cradle is. It's I don't even know how you describe it, like what sort of subgenre of playground games or children games it comes under. In fact, I even hesitated to call Cat's Cradle a playground game in the first place, because I never played it on the playground. Amusingly, we were allowed very few toys when we were actually in school, and a lot of things got banned like pretty quickly once you started bringing them in. In some cases for good reason, I suppose. You know, don't bring like video game consoles in and all that unless it's the final day of school, where we were allowed to. I remember on the like final days of school for a year, it was just like sort of tradition at this point we bring in consoles, but or it's kind of expected it was to happen, but for some reason, like I was told I had to go ask the principal to get permission for like a whole class. So I remember going like, you know, just like knocking on the principal's door, being like, excuse me, can we have a conversation? I'd be like, are we allowed to bring like video game consoles or whatever on the final day? This is in primary school, not secondary school, by the way, primary school. Just for fun. And then, you know, he was obviously, you know, very kind, because, you know, he's trying to have a much, I suppose, a somewhat serious conversation with an 11-year-old, but, you know, it's not that serious. But, you know, short answer, yeah, we were allowed. So I brought my DS in, and then we played, I don't know, Mario Party or something. I remember I also had like a violin lesson about last day of school, and I felt kind of bad about it, because I was like, you know, I want to be, of course, like hanging out and playing with my friends on this like last day of school, whatever, but also like I don't obviously want to waste the money spent on the violin lesson. So I went there, and the teacher was just like, you can tell your heart's not in it. Go and play games and go have fun, eh? Sorry, a little bit of a pause there. What was I talking about? I have no idea. Did I finish telling a story about when we brought DSs in? Oh yeah, I had like a violin lesson, and the teacher was like, oh, clearly your heart's not in it. You know, just like go and enjoy the last day of school. I said, I was like, thanks, teach. I didn't say it like that. I mean, she obviously had a name and everything. But you know, let's not just randomly save them and post them on the internet. You never know how that goes. But no, I was talking about Cat's Cradle, wasn't I? Which is, yeah, no, I'm not even sure if like I ever played Cat's Cradle in school. I wonder if I can still remember how to do it. I know I had like the giant Cat's Cradle like string thing you're meant to do. Well, to be fair, you can do it with any sort of string. I remember you wrap it like twice around your left wrist, twice around your right wrist, and you get your middle finger underneath the top loops, and then pull outwards, and then you have basically like 2 X's upon 2 lines, and then the next person grabs 1 X with each finger and brings it underneath the 2 lines, I suppose, that go between the wrist, and holds it out, and then I can't remember what happened somewhere. No, I would need to see it to remember it. Let's hold on. I'm trying to imagine it. I've got the muscle memory. You put it out, and then oh yes, and then you got like basically a long rectangle with like two lines, two strings, I suppose, in the middle, which you grab one each with your pinky finger and then cross them over and bring your hand underneath them or something, and then you have a thing where you have like a square and two axes underneath, and then you grab the two axes and then it just sort of like loops in a pattern there. You're getting back in a holding pattern. Does that sound right? I don't know. I'd imagine there's other ways to actually play Cat's Cradle, but like, you know, I've never done them, to be fair, so they're much as mystery to me as they might, well, they might not be to you, I suppose, but they are very much a mystery to me. I have no idea what the sort of rules are. Are there even rules for Cat's Cradle? Because I always found it a bit strange, like, yeah, it's kind of amusing to do, but then you just sort of, like, within literally 4 steps, at least the way we did it, you get put into a holding pattern, you get put into a repeating pattern over and over and over again, where you just do the same 2 things back and forth over and over. That seems kind of boring, I always thought. I was like, you know, you would have thought Cat's Cradle, you know, at least have like 6 steps or something in it. Only having 4 steps in it makes it rather boring, I suppose, say the very least. You could have thought, oh, you know, maybe a little bit more interest, a little bit more dynamicism in there. So I'm just saying, Cat's Cradle, not a top tier playground sort of game. It surely doesn't count as a playground game, because playground games are things like hopscotch and I know, marbles and what else would be a playground game? Tag. Bulldog, I suppose, if you're British, which got banned in our primary school, by the way, because it was too violent. Have I talked about that? It was too violent in our school, so it got banned. So instead I made up an alternative to Bulldog called Safe Side, which was essentially the same thing as Bulldog, except for you couldn't rugby tackle people. You could only sort of block people and capture them in your arms, and that was it. But you know, if it's circumvented the rules. So if anything, I was a bit of a rule breaker back then, except for, I'm not rule breaking the way such rules are made to be broken, more like I'm going to use the rules against the rules. Lawful evil, as you might say, except for it's not really evil, I'll be honest. I don't think wanting to play a childhood playground game was all that evil. Hold on, let's see what Cat's Cradle is defined as Wikipedia, as we all know is the font of knowledge in today's society. Cat's Cradle is a game involving creating various string figures between the fingers. Yeah, I always assumed there was multiple ways you can do it, but there's only one pattern I ever learnt about. Cradle, the first and opening position of Cat's Cradle. You know, El Clasico. The true origin of its name is debated, but through the first known references, the light of nature pursued by Abraham Tucker. Hold on, you know, put this on this other screen so I can actually look at my mic while I speak about it. The type of string with specific figures that order the names of figures vary, independent of the versions that have been found in indigenous cultures. Interesting. I think we already have the painting, but we'll try and donate it anyway. Okay, seems like we do. The game consists of 2 or more players making a sequence of string figures, each altering the figure made by the previous figure. The game above begins with one player making the eponymous figure Cat's Cradle. After each figure, the next player manipulates the figure and removes the finger from the hands of a previous player with one of a few simple motions, and tightens the loop to create another figure, for example, diamonds. Diamonds may then lead to candles, for example, and then manger, and an inverted Cat's Cradle, and so on. Yeah, wait, hold on, I remembered. Is that the same diamonds? Cat's eye to fish in a dish. Wait, hold on. Cat's Cradle can go into diamonds, into candles. Okay, that's not the way we did it, but ours also did lead to manger, which becomes back to diamonds, back to manger, back to diamonds, back to manger, I think. Unless diamonds is different from what I expected, but it did make diamonds. Let us... Fish in a dish can become cat's eye or manger. Cat's eye to fish in a dish. What the heck? I don't know what that is. I'm gonna say, this fish in a dish one has, like multiple pairs of hands. Oh, you know, this is probably like mid-transfer, right? The game ends when a player makes a mistake or creates a dead-end figure. How do you make a dead-end figure? Such as 2 crowns, which cannot be turned into anything else. Surely every figure in Cat's Cradle can be turned into another figure just by doing the process of getting there, but in reverse. Wait, is that possible? That might not be possible now I think about it. How can you have a dead-end figure? But doesn't... I can't imagine there could even possibly be a figure where you're just like, yep, there's no way we can make any sort of different rope structure from it. I guess no interesting rope structure. Maybe it's a bit arbitrary which one gets considered a dead-end figure or which ones don't. World records! This person completed 21,200 changes of Cat's Cradle in 21 hours. That sounds tiring, but, you know, good job with you. 22,700 in Alberta. List of string figures, let's go. Alright, let's see them. Let's see if we can remember them. Let's see if I can find a very specific one that I used to do. I know Cradle was the first one. Oh, well, Candles is the one we did. Candles, diamonds. Oh my god, there's actually so many. This list is so long. Notable string scholars. What? Collectors and enthusiasts. I don't know if there even was a thing such as string scholars. What the heck is this? Paw print door plate, tall garden rock. Paw print door plate, I'd imagine, is probably significantly easier than any of the others here. 2 wood. Let's find Sahara, buy the stuff, and then we'll put the stuff away in storage. Oh, you chatting to each other? Hey, I've got a joke for you, Phoebe. Why is an island like Velocity? I don't think we've ever had a smug villager talk to a sisterly villager. 'Cause it's in the middle of the water. Get it? Gah! Yuck. You can keep your joke, Apollo. Though, isn't a bad turn of phrase. It's rare to hear you complimenting me on anything, so if you'd rather have my catchphrase, it's all yours. Thanks, I guess. I mean, thanks. Eh? Huh? Not bad. Well now, sounds good, even coming from you, eh? Guess you can still learn something from me, yeah, gahaha. Oh yeah, sure I can. Learn how to be a big jerk, maybe. I didn't realise sisterly villagers really hated cranky villagers, which is wild because the cranky villagers aren't even mean in this version. The cranky villagers are just old men, basically. They're just grandpas. I find them quite funny in this version. Where is Sahara? Can I say? They were meant to be in this... Did we give Tank a thing? We did give Tank a thing. They're meant to be in this central square. Okay, hold on. Clearly what we need to do is find a video of someone playing Cat's Cradle. How to play Cat's Cradle. Easy step by step with string. And see if it's exactly the same one. Agree to YouTube cookies or something. We've got a very scary picture of a cat here on the thumbnail. Mum's minivan. Today we're going to show you how to do Cat's Cradle. But it's a good thing there's subtitles on this so I can mute it and actually watch it. Oh, this looks like... Yeah, this is the one that we did. Hold on. Yeah, you start with a cradle and you go underneath with the 2 axes, and you put it out, and then you get the 2 diamonds, you grab the 2 in the middle, so you pull them out again, and then you get the 2 like strings in the middle, and you grab them with your pinkies, and you go underneath again. That was always the hardest one, I remember, that people did. And then you end up with the inverted Cat's Cradle. You grab it from the inside. We never did that. We grabbed it from the outside, and it just went back to diamonds. Oh yeah, it just goes back to diamonds all over again. And it's just back and forth between diamonds and... Diamond and the inverted Cat's Cradle. Or I guess diamonds and... candles. I didn't realise they had names. I don't know why I never really thought about the fact they would have names. Where are you, Sahara? Did we walk past Sahara at some point? Have we even found the person who's crafting today? What have we even done in Animal Crossing today? It doesn't even matter. I'm learning about Cat's Cradle now, okay? I'm learning about pastimes. Fruit side. That was the only caption. I should put this on double time. I already know how to do this Cat's Cradle thing. I don't know where our Cat's Cradle is. I know you can do it with any sort of string, but we had this really lovely sort of like stretchy rainbow string that we used to play around with it. By we, I mean me and my sister, I suppose. I just remember like the 3rd step always being the most difficult one, and it was always the one I'd mess up because I'd never remember how you do it. I just, you know, it became so ingrained into me now that the difficulty of it, that even to this day, I'd imagine, oh, it's so difficult. But, you know, just looking at it, it's literally you just grab it with your pinky fingers and put it underneath. They all follow the same pattern. Grab 2 of the things and follow, and then pull your hands underneath it. And then pull outwards. Put this on double speed. This is too slow. I bet I could have done this, you know. From memory without looking at this video. It's exactly the same as I recall it, to be honest. It's weird looking at this again. This is the most basic version, but I want to see much more complicated ones. This makes a tractor shape. I thought this was called a candle. Why is this a tractor? Because it's like 2 caterpillar treads. I see. You know, I guess that makes more sense in candle. Maybe candle is a different shape? Where is Sahara? I guess Amelia could be our crafter today. Oh, I didn't even notice the holly berries are coming in. Hold on. I want to see what's a more complicated cat's cradle. Solo cat's cradle. How to play with only one person. Hammock, fishnet, string figure, step-by-step tutorial. But this mum's minivan has made so many different YouTube videos about different cat's cradle things. How to do Jacob's ladder. That one looks cool. Let's learn how to do Jacob's ladder. Right, step by step. Do these all start from a cat's cradle position? Hold on a minute. This is just using a piece of string. That's not cat's cradle. Or maybe it is cat's cradle. Nice big circle. All right. In the open position. I don't know what Amelia just gave us. A modern wooden wall. Do we know how to do this? Open position A. Kind of like cat's cradle, but it's not. Drop the thumb strings, alright? So you've got sort of an hourglass position. Reach under with your thumbs. Oh, I'm not going to remember how to do this. Also, where can you go from Jacob's ladder? Jacob's ladder is just like such a big flex. And drop the pinky strings, alright? Alright, I hope you're following along. I don't even have a string to do this with. This is like something I should be doing at like midnight, you know? When it's late at night and you just found like a random YouTube rabbit hole. Cat's whiskers. What? There's so many names. It does look like cat's whiskers, but I'll give it that. This is like a sort of rabbit hole you find yourself in like midnight in YouTube, where you just learn about random things which you've never even thought about for years. To be fair, I guess that's kind of what these Animal Crossing videos kind of are, aren't they? I'm just sort of doing whatever. Just in the middle of this episode, learning about Cat's Cradle. I was actually contemplating, I was like, I wonder if I should do the crossword puzzle. Today's universal crossword puzzle. Today, just like on Animal Crossing. Because I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to talk about in Animal Crossing today. Do we even have enough space in our inventory for all of this? For all of the stuff we're buying, I don't know. But I did strongly consider that. Just doing the crossword puzzle. But I'm also not that great at crossword. Whoa, look at it. There's Jacob's ladder. Okay, let's touch more things with Cat's Cradle. So, let's learn how to do solo Cat's Cradle. How to play Cat's Cradle by yourself, which, you know, seems like a rather lonely way to do things, but I suppose you can, nonetheless. Oh. Whoa. 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 What the heck? This is incredible. Now think about it. Cat's Cradle. It's almost another one of those games which, you know, I'm the same complaints I had with... I was going to say, whose line is it anyway? That's not what I meant. Is Cat's Cradle banned? Wow. And the 1972 school board of Strongsville, Ohio, banned the book without stating an official reason. Oh, it's a book. Oh, I thought it was, that's not really what I meant. How do you solve Cat's Cradle? Like, it's the same thing I had with complaints of, what's the time it's Dwarf. There's no goal for Cat's Cradle. I guess there kind of is a goal, but it's a very weak goal. Oh, you keep going until someone messes up, but if you get caught into a loop, because, you know, as a child, I don't think you learn all that many different Cat's Cradle combinations. Or maybe you did. You know, maybe it's because as a result of being in much more modern times, we didn't play with Cat's Cradles, we played with bouncy balls much more often. Or we played tag and Suck and Mud, which are timeless games, I suppose. Yeah, there's no goal. You just keep going until one of you messes up. But if you only had to do one action over and over and over again, how do you mess up? I suppose is really what I'm going for. It feels far too easy just to continuously do things over and over and over again. I'm just saying, where's a challenge in Cat's Cradle? Cat's Cradle needs... I'm saying this, except for my point doesn't really work as well for Cat's Cradle, because there are challenges, there are harder things you can do for Cat's Cradle. It's just I never learned them. So here I am studying Cat's Cradle, Cat's Cradle's good name for no good reason. And apparently there's a book about it, so... Or not a book about it, a book with the same title. Let's see, Cat's Cradle Disambiguation. A Golding novel by Julia Golding. The Cat's guardian shows her a letter from someone claiming to be her mother, so Cat travels to Scottish town Lanark to find her family. It's not exactly what I expected. This is sort of like the naming convention when I try and name things. It's something which is mildly relevant, but just like a phrase containing like one of the characters or whatever in the story. So I feel a little bit unhinged in my commentary right now. Not unhinged in a bad way, just more like, what am I even talking about? I don't know. I don't think I'm talking about... I don't think I've said a single coherent idea or thought process in this entire episode. I was thinking about when I was recording Talos Principle earlier today. I was like, man, my commentary is not very good right now. And here I am. But I still record another episode anyway. And here I am recording Animal Crossing right now. And it's still equally incoherent. Well, not incoherent, just more like, I don't know. Just nothing. Is this nothing? 1925 novel? A 1963 novel? Oh, is this one it was talking about? The one that was banned. It's a satirical postmodern novel with science fiction elements. Obviously, I don't read all that much, so I have no idea what this is. Synopsis. Ah, it's too long. I'm not going to read it. What if I read it one day? Cat's Cradle Cattery. Is this like a band called Cat's Cradle on Twitter? How to play the Cat's Cradle game. WikiHow. You got to see the WikiHow. Illustrations are always wild. Get another person to help you play. It's not possible to play Cat's Cradle with only one person. I'd have you know that. What was that person called? Like Mindy Minivan or something? Would like to say otherwise. You can certainly play Cat's Cradle by yourself, apparently. Whether you'd want to or not, I suppose, is certainly more up to you. But we don't need all these fossils, do we? This is too many fossils. Yeah, I suppose it's kind of up to you, isn't it? What do we need to customize? Nothing really. Guess we'll customize this. Get one person to help you play. Alright, let's see the WikiHow illustrations because they're always wild. Hand off a string after every turn. Restart the game if you make a mistake. The game is over when you pull the string in the wrong place or end up forming a shape which no other shapes can be made. Like, I still don't understand how a shape cannot be made. Source. Research source. Mum's minivan, that was it. Be sure not to let go of the pinky strings down here. Hold on. Just don't let go of the pinkies. From here you just keep repeating all the steps and you try to keep it going as long as you can. But that sounds boring. There's got to be something more to Cat's Cradle. I refuse to think it's as binary as this. You just do the same patterns over and over and over again? Come on, Mum's minivan. She probably explained at some point how... Oh, here we go. The object of a game. See how long you can keep it going without messing up. But how? How do you keep going? How do you make a thing which you can no longer make anything from? You get me? Hold on, go back to the Cat Cradle's wiki. I don't understand. I need to see like a picture of something. Makes a mistake or creates a dead end finger such as 2 crowns. Cat's Cradle 2 crowns. What's wrong with 2 crowns? Let's look at it. Surely you can make something from 2 crowns. I'm just looking at it. Oh, so I don't know which one 2 crowns is. Is this one? 2 royal crowns. Surely you can make something from that. You know, like pawn bows and... Or maybe you don't. Oh, because maybe they tie themselves in a knot like this. This shape. Is that what happens? And then you have no string to work with. I guess that makes sense. It's also known as 2 crowns. Cat's Cradle. Stringgames.com. Oh, sorry. String.games. Figures. Cradle. Starting figures. Soldier's bed. Candles. Okay, cradles. Cradle. From Cradle you can make soldier's bed, diamonds, or instructions. Or candles. You can make diamonds. Which is that one. And from diamonds you can make soldier's bed. Oh, that's soldier's bed. And then from soldier's bed you can make... What the heck is candles? Wait, candles... Oh, that's soldier's bed. Wait, soldier's bed is diamonds. Wait, no. Oh, it's an upside down version of diamonds. I'm learning so much about Cat's Cradle. It says candles. From candles you can make manger. It's also known as upturned cradle. It's an upside down version of cradle. From cradle, fish in a dish. That sounds great. What the heck is this? You can make diamonds? Question mark. Why is there a question mark on this one? It says, from fish in a dish, you can make diamonds? Probably the most suspicious question mark I've ever seen in any sort of website. I've never been more skeptical of a question mark and more suspicious of what is going on here. Hand drum? What on earth is hand drum? It's also known as scraggly. I'm going to tell you now, it looks like a hot mess, whatever this is. Like, there's not even any hands in the diagram. It's just, literally just like, it looks like a pile of string just all tangled up. But apparently you can make things from it. Lucky Tea Kettle. That's something. That's an ending, and it requires 3 players. It doesn't even have a picture. It takes 3 people to make a Lucky Tea Kettle. You tell me this forbidden technique of Lucky Tea Kettle in Cat's Cradle, and you don't even show me how to do it. It can only be made from hand drum. I gotta see it now. Lucky Tea Kettle of a Morin temple. What the heck is this? It's a story. Oh, that's not what I meant. Looks like a Japanese folklore. Lucky Tea Kettle. What? Saw? What the heck is saw? A concrete power saw? Why is this in related images? I don't understand what's going on. Why is a Cat's Cradle... Everything is so weird. Cat's Cradle. Lucky Tea Kettle. What if I search it with string games? I just want to see a picture of it. Saw is the ending figure. I gotta say, Saw is also has 4 hands in it. Oh yeah, now I think about it. If you need 3 people to make Lucky Tea Kettle, that means you have 6 hands at your disposal, not 3 hands. How would you possibly need 3 people to make it? Saw is also not even on the list, the short list of things. Oh, it's on the short list. It's not on the drop down menu for some reason. You've got Cradle, Soldier's Bed, which is upside down diamonds, remember, you know, in case you forgot. Where should we put the walking leaf? Over here? Why not? As a last sort of remnant of the insect pavilion over here. Manger, which is upside down cradle. Diamonds. Soldier's Eye. Cat. What's Cat's Eye? I should learn how to do these for no apparent reason. Cat's Eye can be made on Soldier's Bed and diamonds to make manger, to make fish in a dish. What? These are the least descriptive. Actually, they're not that undescriptive now. Look at it. To make fish in a dish. Fish in a dish. Hand drum, which is what's hand drum? I want to see what scraggly is. String games. Hand drum. Whoa. It's also called hammock? Drum and spider? Wait, hold on. Scraggly. I can't believe, for one, there's a whole website about this, but 2, it's not like even a complete website in the first place. It's so specific. It's string.games. This is the only thing on website. What? To play, you need approximately 6 foot long piece of string with the ends tied together. 6 foot? That can't be right. To form a loop, number 18 braided nylon mason line tied using a water knot works well. What? This feels like a... I don't even know what I've stumbled across on. Some of our website's very unsettling. I'm going to close out of it before it, like, I don't know, installs a Bitcoin miner on my computer. It doesn't even seem that unsettling, because it's just such a plain website. It feels like chilling in a very sort of like, isn't there something more sort of way. We're nearly back at 100,000 mile points, which is honestly miraculous at this point. Seeing as we spent 200,000, I think, to try and find Fauna, and we didn't find her. Which, you know, is just sort of a luck of draw. The gacha draw as it goes. Yeah, I don't know, Cat's Cradle. I don't know really what I've learned from this episode. Animal Crossing. And normally these sort of episodes where I look things up on Wikipedia, I like to try and like learn things, and I'm not really sure if I've learned much about Cat's Cradle now. I just sort of, I suppose I'm more of aware of it, and I don't know if people even play it anymore. Can you do this with elastic string? That's one of the questions. Yes. How does it end in a game work? Does it end when there are no longer any patterns to make or something? Which still seems kind of wild, the fact that you can actually just get to a point where you're like, this is impossible. No patterns can be made from this. The game ends when there's nothing more you can do with a string but untie it. Oh, I guess so. The patterns are just kind of things which result in knots, don't they? Weird. There's no final shape. Can I do Cat's Cradle tricks by myself? How many versions of a game? Too many to count. How do I make a butterfly? How many people can play Cat's Cradle game at once? As many as you want. There should be multiplayer Cat's Cradle, like, you know, 2 versus 2 Cat's Cradle. How does that even work? I don't know. Cat's Cradle should be one of those games which has been made into like a competitive sport or something. You know, like go down with rock, paper, scissors and parkour. I'd love to see that. A game of like dexterity, I suppose, as opposed to physical athleticism. Anyway, I'm going to round off this episode here because I have no idea what I'm talking about anymore, and we've kind of lost the plot. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscriptions, shares are greatly appreciated. Join me Dear Darling Discord, follow me on Twitter down below. Hope we see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.